Marc Marquez unfazed by high crash count in 2024 MotoGP season. Despite being the rider with the most crashes in this year's MotoGP, Marc Marquez isn't overly concerned about the statistic. The Gresini racing star, who has endured 16 crashes in the first 11 rounds, says his focus is on reducing errors during races rather than dwelling on the number of falls. Marquez's reputation for frequent crashes has followed him throughout his career, largely attributed to the challenging nature of the Honda bike he rode for 11 years. However, even after switching to the more forgiving Ducati GP23, Marquez has not been able to break the habit and is on track to match or even exceed his personal record of 23 crashes from 2023. One of Marquez's most memorable crashes of the season occurred after he took the lead in the Americas GP. More recently, he dropped his bike in the sprint races at Silverstone and Spielberg. When asked if his crashes this year are a result of his riding style or the adjustment to the desmosedici, Marquez responded, "It's true that in the first part of the season, as I said, in Portimao and Austin, I crashed a lot. And it was not my mistake, but it's true that these last races I had a couple of crashes that I didn't understand a lot, and these all gave me a little bit less confidence. But we now need to try again to find the limit in the correct way. The most positive thing is that I'm crashing in practice. It's true that in the races I crashed in the Silverstone sprint and then the Spielberg sprint, but normally in the main race I always try to stay on the bike, and this is the most important point. I would like to crash less, but at the moment it's a number I don't care a lot about." Despite his crashes, Marquez has shown impressive speed on the GP23, earning a promotion to the factory Ducati team alongside Francesco Bagnaia for next season. With 4 podium finishes in the first 11 rounds, he's comfortably sitting in 4th place in the championship standings, behind only the Ducati riders on the more advanced GP24. However, Marquez has yet to secure a win, with his last victory dating back to Misano in 2021. A streak now stretching over 1,000 days. The Honda bike was uncompetitive in 2022 and 2023, and the leap Ducati made this year has made podium finishes challenging for those not riding the latest GP24. Marquez, however, remains unfazed by the winless streak, stating that his primary focus is on laying the groundwork for his 2025 campaign, when he aims to contend for the title once again. "For me, it doesn't matter how many days it's been since I last won a race," Marquez said. "I know this year is a year to build, and I'm building and building. I'm trying to build that confidence. I try to go step by step. It's true we started this year so good. Looks like we took a step back after that. But now it looks like we're coming back. And in this second part of the season, we need to keep building, try to be on the podiums, and if the victory doesn't come this year, it will arrive next year." Former MotoGP champion Jorge Lorenzo has expressed that Marc Marquez continues to be burdened by the lingering effects of his severe arm injury from 2020, despite the passage of time. However, Lorenzo remains optimistic that Marquez can still secure another MotoGP title, adding a 7th Premier Class championship to his already impressive career. Lorenzo, who is now a prominent television pundit for the Spanish broadcaster dall'igna, has been closely observing Marquez's performances this season. The 3-time MotoGP champion believes that the injury Marquez sustained 4 years ago still impacts his ability to perform at his peak. This injury, which stemmed from a catastrophic crash at the Spanish Grand Prix, has become a defining moment in Marquez's career. During the 2020 season opener, which was delayed due to the global pandemic, Marquez suffered a horrific high-side at turn 3, crashing violently to the ground. The crash resulted in a severe arm injury that required an extended period of recovery. Over the next 2 years, Marquez underwent 4 operations to regain full fitness and eliminate any physical limitations that might hinder his ability to compete at the highest level in MotoGP. While Marquez has made significant strides in his recovery and has shown flashes of his former brilliance on the track, Lorenzo believes that the injury continues to affect him, particularly in certain aspects of his riding. "In some braking zones, you can see that the injury is still weighing him down," Lorenzo commented on DAZN. All of these factors combined mean that a champion like Marc Marquez, even with what is supposedly the best bike, even if it's not the latest model, is still not winning races as frequently as he used to. Marquez's switch to the Gresini racing team, where he rides a year-old Ducati, has allowed him to return to competitive form in 2024. Despite this, he has yet to secure a victory this season. He currently holds fourth place in the championship standings with 192 points, having achieved 4 podium finishes. The elusive victory, however, remains out of reach, with the 2024 season largely dominated by Francesco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin, both riding the latest Ducati GP24. Lorenzo is uncertain whether Marquez would be leading the championship if he were riding the same equipment as the factory Ducati riders. He acknowledged Marquez's immense talent and technical prowess, which set him apart from his rivals before the injury. Maybe he would have won with the 2024 bike. Would he be leading the World Championship? "I'm not sure," Lorenzo remarked. In 2019, before the injury, he was so far ahead of his rivals in terms of technical skill and physical condition. He was far superior to many, not only in terms of titles, but also on a technical and physical level. Lorenzo also reflected on the expectations that surrounded Marquez when he moved to Ducati. Many believed that the combination of the best rider and the best bike would result in a dominant season. "Even I thought he was going to win the championship," Lorenzo admitted. "I didn't think he would sweep the season, but I expected him to win the championship." Yet so far he hasn't achieved any victories. He's fought for wins, secured podiums, but hasn't been able to win. And this is Marc Marquez we're talking about. Marquez's move to the factory Ducati team in 2025 after an impressive adaptation to the GP23 will see him go head-to-head with two-time champion Francesco Bagnaia. Bagnaia has steadily established himself as the top rider in MotoGP, making the challenge for Marquez even more daunting. Despite this, Lorenzo remains hopeful that Marquez can secure another championship, potentially equaling Valentino Rossi's record of Premier Class titles. That injury from Jerez in 2020 is still weighing him down physically, Lorenzo continued. But we've seen great champions like Mick Doohan, who managed to win 4 world championships with practically 1.5 legs. I don't think we've seen the last of Marc Marquez's titles yet. It's still possible, though it won't be easy for him to win another championship, especially with 2 young riders ahead of him. Jorge Martin is moving to Aprilia, but Pecco Bagnaia, who is younger, very fast and almost perfect, is still there. In the ever-evolving landscape of MotoGP, the question remains: can Marc Marquez overcome the physical and competitive challenges to reclaim his position at the top? Only time will tell, but Lorenzo's faith in his former teammate suggests that the story of Marc Marquez is far from over. Keep warming up your engines. See you at the next race.